Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's CITI program webinar. Today's topic is preparing to publish in traditional and hybrid journals, and it is presented by Paige Morgan. Dr. Paige Morgan is the digital publishing and copyright librarian and head of digital scholarship and publishing services at University of Delaware. She has previously worked at the University of Miami Libraries as digital scholarship librarian and scholarly publishing officer, and as a Clear postdoctoral fellow at the Lewis and Ruth Sherman Center for Digital Scholarship at McMaster University. She holds a PhD in English and Textual Studies from the University of Washington. In the past 10 years, Paige has worked within the field of digital scholarship and publishing in several capacities as a researcher, instructor, data wrangler, and community curriculum builder.
I want to start by going over the learning objectives for this webinar, and I'm going to avoid reading these slides directly and summarize instead. By the end of this webinar, I want those of you who are attending to know what to expect of the process for publication from beginning to end, including understanding how much time it might take. I want you to be able to have some specific questions in mind when you're thinking about, is this a good journal or publishing venue for me and my career? And I want you to be able to have options for sharing your research so that you can accomplish your professional goals successfully. Finally, I want all of you to understand how to think about your publishing choices in terms of equity. You will get to the point where your article, with all its revisions, all the blood, sweat, and tears that you have poured into it, is accepted for publication. At this point, many researchers are so tired that it's really easy to want to hit snooze on the whole rest of the process, but unfortunately, you should not do that. The key step here is read the fine print. Contracts may ask you to grant the publisher a license to publish and share your article in certain ways. When you see or hear the word license, you can think of it as a permission slip. They're asking for advance permission to keep on sharing and making your article available. However, many journals will still ask you to transfer your copyright entirely to the journal or publisher. This will mean that you no longer own the research. You created it, but you gave the rights around it to someone else. This can block what you are allowed to do in the future, particularly if years down the road you would like to reprint the article or use it in a scholarly textbook. If you sign away your copyright when you sign the author agreement, then you will be in a position of needing to track down the publisher and ask them whether you are able to reprint your research. You may be asked to pay a fee. I want to sum up everything that we've covered in the past hour in a few points. One, figuring out what you want your publication to accomplish is really important. Is it about your promotion, or is it about your publication being discussed and critiqued by other scholars, or is it about your publication and your research being used by practitioners in a particular field? Depending on which it is, you may choose different strategies around where and how to publish. It's also important to know what each step of the publication process is going to look like before you get started. This will allow you to plan effectively. I encourage you not to skimp on the pre-work, including and especially reading the fine print in order to figure out what you can and can't do, what you are required to do in order to work with both publishers and with funders. And learn in advance and ask questions if you're not sure about the options, policies, and requirements that exist and shape what you are allowed to share.
I also invite everyone to review our content offerings regularly, as we are continually adding new courses and webinars in different areas of research, ethics, compliance, and professional development.